Hello, my dear ones. Let me see if we got this camera up right the way it should be. Let me see if that's better. Yeah, a little. I don't know. Oh, I've got so much paperwork here. What am I going to do? Now, that was a fun fruit fest, guys. Fun, fun, fun. Need to be bigger. This came from Maya. It says, hello, Dr. Morse. I have a friend who has had hyperkalemic periodic paralysis. I've never heard about it, but he's told me and my other friend about it, and we've seen his legs pretty much give out on him out of nowhere. He's had this since birth, and he's only 20 years young. My friend and I are fans of yours and plan on taking your class and teaching and how important detoxing is. But our question is if you think that this may be an issue with the endocrine gland system. Probably the cerebellum. Probably at the cerebellum. I mean, he could definitely have the setup for MS here. That sort of. I mean, we'll use that name, but a neurological, obvious. So, one of the questions you would ask, do you ever get dizzy? Do you ever feel equilibrium, vertigo problems? Of course, at 20, he probably doesn't know anything about his blood pressure much, but it'll swing. It'll go up and down, lightheadedness, that sort of thing. I mean, it could be coming lower back and that sort of thing, but definitely be central probably, and with maybe some autonomic. Again, picture of the iris. Then we can see the spine all the way down. We can see the brain. We can see the cerebellum, mastoid. See what's going on there. And that would be, that we might have, of course, if you didn't see any of that, you can go after this young man, and I would go after this young man and get him out of that. Because no matter what the symptom is, that when you turn the body back to a hydrated state, an alkaline dominant state, and to do that, what you have to do that, get the kidneys to filter. That's number 101, get the kidneys to filter. Bring in that hydration chemistry to ionize these acids and to bring hydration to the body, fluidity to the body's fluid systems. And then all this removes that which breaks things down. Remember, keep it simple, even though there's this symptom, that symptom, drop, but this, but great, all of these symptoms. There's two aspects that you have to look at in the human body. Cells, structure, function, and the fluids that take care of them. Right? You got those two things. Bottom line. Right? And bottom line, you have two sides of chemistry. That's the wall. That I'm back as far as I can go. All right? Now, as we move out from there, we can see what each side of chemistry has an effect upon. What happens? Which side of chemistry initiates the inflammatory process? Well, it is an alkaline chemistry. So you begin to see and put that together, that the acid side of chemistry is the corrosive side. We even say that in chemistry. It's the corrosive side. Nobody likes to go swimming in acid swimming pools. That sort of thing. Well, neither does your cells in your body. So that's the problem. So when you see symptoms, whether it's structure, function, cells, and genetics, that's just the memories. Teaching the cell how to function. They have their link to the mental body, to the emotional body. The cell. And your foods that you're giving the body has an emotional and mental link to it. So when you're consuming, let's say, a fruit, it is affecting your mental body, it's affecting your emotional body, and it's affecting your physical body. It has all components to it. You're not just getting kicked in the physical world. Oh, no. No. If you want to know the Creator, then you got to start expanding the fact that the Creator is infinite and endless in its ability to create anything and everything. So, just remember, you've got these two things to realize, your cells or your fluids. Cells are generally just sitting there. Initially, a healthy cell is just sitting there, being a healthy cell. It takes its goodies, its electricity, and its consciousness from what's circulating around it. But it also has to get rid of its sewage like anything does, like babies do, cars do, factories, motors, anything that's using chemistry has side effects or has wastes and byproducts from that. Chemistry, the interaction of chemistry always causes more chemistry. So it's just, realizing that, focusing in on that, and dealing with that. So I would take right off after this young man. Are you kidding me? Upper circuit brain and nerve, to say the very least. And then I'm after the kidneys, I'm after the adrenals, I'm after the lymphatic system, which is the lymph system. And then I'm after the gut, the GI tract. No more removing of complete colons for us, right? Well, Mitch, I know what you're thinking. I'm a little old to be doing this. I'm a God man, Mitch. I'm ready to leave the body, not build it up. I used to build my body. I was a bodybuilder. But take a look at this guy. Now, Mitch, God dang, man, you're ripped. Look at Mitch. Holy crap. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. We'll see, man. We'll see you next year, maybe. Maybe I'll have you get me to build up a little bit. But, I want to get out of here. I don't want to stay here. But, neat body, Mitch. Holy crap, man. Good looking dude, too. And, thanks, Mark and Kim. Sent me this nice little Buddha that they made. They've been over where the Dalai Lama is. I have to laugh when it comes to the Dalai Lama, because he finds the same thing I find. Humans. Strange. Yeah. But the jokes you sent me are so funny. I can't believe. Did you make these up? These are funny. These are so funny. This one says, it's a picture of a fat guy walking down the street. Looks like a pyramid. And it says, the government's food pyramid must be working. More Americans than ever are looking like pyramids. I mean, there's a lot of good ones in here. I love this. I wish they could put them up on our site, because I love jokes like that. They got them about us. Oh, we were talking about proteins, viruses, and things being proteins. So this lady was over in Costa Rica, and on this pineapple, talking about the protein digesting bromelain and things like that. Yeah, we're right on point. We're not off point, that's for sure. But God, I'd like to find a way to speed it up. I'd like to find a way that we can speed some of these advanced cases up, because I just got through talking with one this morning, poor thing, and it's starting to chew itself off, and she's not filtering. So I'm pushing her into the upper levels of dry fasting, see if we can't get those cracked open, because you don't get those kidneys filtering, there's very little chance of improvement, in my opinion. I mean, just what we see here, and if you looked at it intellectually and probably scientifically, you would need to spend time getting these kidneys hydrated and the interstitial spaces in the kidneys hydrated, and who knows what else is a connecting link to this. I don't know. I do not know if the pituitary gland has any effect at all with filtration. First, we have to ask the question, and then Mary Gladstar's famous face cream. It is famous. It is good. Once in a while, a herbalist will land on a blue ribbon. I love all my formulas. Most of them are blue ribbon, in my opinion. All right, let's see what we got here. Former professor in Japan claims eating fruit for 8 years has made him superhuman. Look at that. Woo, woo. I believe him. My experience has been with it. I believe him. I'm telling you, some of these people get way out there on fruit. Now, fruit that's ripe and tastes good. The problem with fruit, you got to know how to live as a fruitarian, or at least a high fruit level. You got to know when to buy them, when they turn ripe, how to work that so you have ripe fruit. And I think this is one of the things they struggled with the Fruit Fest, was trying to keep the fruit in a ripe stage. The watermelons seem to be good, but, it's like the mangoes and the avocado. You got to know when to pick them and allow those days to work with that, you know. Especially if you're not ripe yet for an event and you got an event coming. You got to know right when to do these things. Fruit has to be, made over a little bit. Are humans eating the wrong diet? According to former professor, can't pronounce the name, of the University of Tokyo, the answer to the question is definitely yes. I love this guy. Woo! In fact, he claims that subsisting on an all-fruit diet is the next step in human evolution. I tell you what, I'm right along with him on this. I'm 100% in agreement with this. I think that man right now is a little immature to handle the fruitarian levels. I think that we don't have our minds and emotions together yet enough. Because remember, some of you guys are experiencing this. A couple of the class one time said, how do I turn it off? That was my question. How do I friggin' turn this off? You know, it's powerful. Yep. So I had to ground myself. Vegetables are good grounders, especially if you steam them, like steamed sprouts and stuff like that. They're a pretty good grounder, but I've done bad stuff to ground, because it just couldn't. So there's a certain maturity, spiritual maturity, and things that must develop within the person, because you are aligning yourself with the highest electrical food on the planet. Humans, as a rule, have been aligning themselves with the lowest electrical food on the planet, not the highest. And fruit and berries are the highest electrical foods on the planet. So now when you plug in from a no electrical diet, basically, or maybe 1,000 angstroms up to 13,000 or 12,000, you just got struck by lightning. See, so that's the difference, and the power there. I'm liking this guy because I'm right along with his thinking. I don't think the human is 97% the same, not identical, the same genetically. These are frugivores, whether one reaches to believe it or not. And we need to pull the human consciousness back to understanding reality. We're not paleos. We weren't born in paleo land. We were born in island land. So once people establish that fact, it will help them to understand why, as islanders, we're frugivores. Where else would you be born? Especially with no hair. I mean, minimal hair and stuff like that. You're not even going to be born in cold climates. I love this. In September of 2009, this gentleman decided to experiment with his health and ate nothing but fruit all day, every day. He was aware that conventional wisdom says an only fruit diet is unhealthy. Who says that? I can tell you what, people that have never done it. And that's what gets you. People have all these opinions, and that's what I'm saying about you guys. Don't have belief systems. Don't have opinions. Ride the horse of truth. Ride the unicorn of truth. We are so propagandized from the Dairymen's Association and the Cattlemen's Association. Oh, there was one in here real cute. The cows were saying, don't eat us anymore. We're not good for you anymore. Dairy cattle. The milk's not good and the meat's not good. That's cute. I love that stuff. But this guy's right on. And you know what? Who cares what man thinks? You guys are divine beings. Start realizing that. Stop thinking, this big mass of propaganda we call education and stuff. Yeah, get your ours, but realize that all knowledge, all wisdom actually comes out of consciousness. And if that's what you seek as consciousness, then all things will be given to you. See? So if you seek the creation, you're only seeking a small part of the all. But if you become the all, you have it all. And then the parts are something you already know. It just know, oh yeah, it all fits. But this propaganda here, conventional wisdom, yeah, that's only because people don't want to do it. This high amounts of sugar just bull crap right off. Anybody that thinks that fructose is a high amount of sugar is nuts. And I've said this many times, fruit tastes sweet like water feels wet. Yet water's only 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. And it feels wet, and it's a universal solvent. It takes a master chemist to put that together, and there's only one master chemist. We're all trying to figure it out. At one point, he opted to get all of his hydrated from fruit versus water. which is true. Why drink water when fruit is full of water? The guys just like me. These guys thinking just like me. Before long days turned to weeks, and then weeks turned to years. What began as an experiment turned into a lifestyle. I only have done 3 years of straight fruit and nothing else. And I couldn't take it. Couldn't take it anymore. But I was an out-of-body traveler, and I was pulling in the God force at the same time. So, you know, I might have made a difference, but I am telling you, I know exactly. This is cool stuff. I love this. I love this. The former professor's eccentric lifestyle. Give me a break. You know what? We those that are creating extreme acidosis and breaking their bodies down would look at the fruitarian lifestyle and go, oh, that's eccentric. But if you knew we are islanders, we're primatists in the physical body side, that's our food source, then it's not eccentric. Every vertebrate has its own food source. On the show, he spoke about his fruit and gained natural notoriety. After his appearance, rumors spread that the fruit lover had met an untimely death caused by malnutrition. Humans, these humans always spread lies and stuff. It's like, what? Why? Why do we as humans feel the need to lie and tear others down? Can't we see the positive and go, yeah, man, let's look at that. Maybe he discovered something that's super cool. Maybe he's discovered something that'll take the human race. Well, we already discovered that. He's just decided to go that way. A lot of fruitarians, not a lot, but some good fruitarians through life here. But he's talking our lingo here, guys. This guy's talking our lingo. Whether you can be a complete fruitarian doesn't really matter right now. But I'm going to tell you that level is so incredible, awareness-wise, health-wise. I mean, you talk about, you just feel like your body's a ball of light. Just a ball of light. Ball of energy and power. There's no restrictions. You have no pain or discomfort or feeling that there's a restriction somewhere in the body because it's just all moving well. There's just everything is. I'll tell you, this is too cool. One thing is for sure, fruit is a health food. However, years of research and study are needed to conclude whether or not a diet that, you know, this is the thing at the end here. What's this say? It says, fruit is medicine. Unfortunately, there are benefits to undoubtedly, there are benefits to consuming fruit. The plant-based food is rich in vitamins and minerals, boosts a high amount of antioxidants, supports the flushing of the kidneys and movement of the lymph system, the sewer system in the body. In fact, some, such as Dr. Robert Morse, MD, claim fruit is the most healing food on the planet. And it is, my dear one. One thing is for sure, fruit is a health food. However, years of research and study. Yeah, let's have years of research and study to see if this is going to work. You guys are already doing it. And you guys have already proved, because what? Most of you are getting rid of everything you had. All the problems are gone. See, this is the thing, whoever wrote this. We can demonstrate that man's health problems are disappearing under our protocols. Oops. Yeah. All the suffering. I mean, like at the fruit festival, people were telling me all the things. This beautiful girl come up. Her husband gave me a kiss because she had MS-like symptoms going down. She was almost bedridden. Now she feels good and walking around is a great life. Big difference. And we do it on fruit. Oh, it needs years and years of study. That's intellectualism. That's your trap. Don't fall into that trap. You don't need no study. Use your consciousness. That's where truth is. Yeah, baby. I want to talk to this guy. Name. Red Flip 8. Alright, what's going on here? When I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with EPP. What's EPP? It's a form of porphyria or whatever. I can't be exposed to long exposure of sunlight, or I swell up and get in extreme pain. All right? Wow. I never heard of that word. Holy crap, it's a mile long. Look at this word, guys. Look at that word. Can you see it? Feels like I'm sticking my body in an oven, and it has to do with a buildup of enzymes. Does it really? Enzymes in my blood when exposed to sunlight. All right. My aunt also has this condition as well. All right. What do you think I should do? I've been a raw vegan for 6 months now. Would a blood formula work? What do you think? Oh, hi.
Hi. Can I borrow you for 2 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Little red button on the other side. Well, you know, when you have acids, acids can create fistulas, all kinds of things. You know, whatever you're suffering with. When you see the breakdown of the colon, you see the breakdown of any tissue, you know immediately what side of chemistry is doing it, guys. Immediately. It's not something foreign. It's not something in Moose Jaw, Alaska. It's not something autoimmune. Not stupid crap like that. These are acids from your own cells blowing back on them. Why? Well, they're not getting rid of the waste. Your exhaust system is blocked. That's your kidneys and adrenal glands. And your skin and thyroid, you could say. Now, okay, so let's go back to this sunburn thing. All right, so let's go back to chemistry for a minute, right? Sun, hot, acid or base? That's no no-brainer. Acid, right? It burns. You can get a real bad burn in the sun, right? Right. The only time that you see what you see is when you're too acid, when you're so acidic that when you get out in the sun, it exacerbates the burn, no matter what you see. Whether you see enzymes rushing to the, or interleukin, whatever you see in the process of inflammation, this is what you see. But the bottom line is that you're dealing in acid on top of acid. And when you deal, I've seen this many times, and when you deal on acid on top of acid, what do you get? More acid. And that's the same thing. The same thing with chemotherapy. Same thing. Same thing. Acid on top of acid. Are these people smart? No, they're lunatics. You do not give someone chemotherapy. I'm telling you, you oncologists someday might be threatened with jail time quite a bit, because once they realize you're actively killing people with this, and that you're the stupidity of using acids to fight an acid condition, it ranks at the top of, I am a really stupid human, and I am a killer of humans. That's all it is. And this is all we know to help you and to try to save you. Do you guys realize that now? No, we're the field that rebuilds people. We've always been the field that saves people. We've always been here. We've always been here. The medical profession has tried to shut us up, tried to lie to you, tell you that we're the bad ones and we don't know what we're talking about. Well, really? We're the chemists and physicists here. You guys aren't. So it's like, what? We have to know the chemistry of everything. The food you eat, everything, how it works. We have to know all of that. If you don't know that, then it's amazing. So you guys see, with the knowledge that you guys are getting, I'd put you guys up against any medical team anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Matter of fact, if I was down, I would run to you guys before I'd run to the medical community, because I know what I'm going to get. So that I would definitely get my kidneys filtering and detox. Get your system moving, honey. I do upper lower circulation for you just to move the blood around better, but I would go after that lymphatic system. Take a picture of your eyes. I'd be real curious to see what your lymph system looks like. But that's what happens. Acid on top of acid gives nothing good. Nothing good. Nothing good. Return to Shannon after filming. I am a student taking the DVD certification course, level 1, and have a few cues. Shoot away. What type of water do you recommend for water fasting, RO or distilled? Either one. Either one. Matter of fact, you could detox on some good old mountain water, but either one. I don't care, RO or distilled. They're both void of any chemistry, and it really doesn't matter. Yes?
You okay? I was just checking.
Am I okay? I'm okay, you're okay. I'm just going to do this for about, what time is it? It's 12 o'clock, right? Are you going to lunch? Am I good out there? Everything's good? Okay. Did you see that Mitch in there? Did you see how ripped that guy was? And he wanted to come down and get me ripped like that.
I was was going to say, do you want to go
I'm too old to get ripped like
No,
that.
you're never too old.
I don't want to stay on
Age
this
is
planet
just
that
a
long.
number.
Jesus, Freeman Criminy. Damn. He's a good looking guy, though. Woo! Ripped. I don't like to be ripped like that at his age. I could build myself up. Used to do a lot of that. The Wielder programs and stuff like that. That's when I learned that, no, high protein diets. I've done them. Listen, guys, I've done oh. So, doesn't really matter. But I'll tell you what, it's in my face about dry fasting, and I tell you, you guys are good, and thank those that have helped me to understand that even more. And that's the beauty about it. Teamwork. All of us finding the truth and digging into the truth, exposing what works, what doesn't work. And we're building a modality that this planet can use. Just like this Japanese guy. That you're going to see a lot more, and it's going to be you guys getting up into these higher levels of health and vitality. These are levels that man doesn't understand yet. That's because he's wallowing in dairy land or wallowing in pig slop and stuff like that. Can't get healthy at that level. Does cayenne in your tea or water produce or eliminate mucus? I'll say this. You have to be very careful not to create it with cayenne pepper. Like if you hear me, give me some cayenne pepper, it'll actually irritate the mucosa. The more fruitarian you become, I'll even put it this way, the more raw fruitist you become. Even the vegetables. This mucosa becomes very sensitive. Very sensitive. You don't get the other way. You actually get more sensitive. So then when you do pepper, it double burns. Well, that then produces a lot of mucus. So those that chugging down all this cayenne and stuff, be careful you're not creating a lot more mucus for yourself. Why are you doing that anyway? If you really wanted to stimulate sinus and stuff like that, you would be very minimal amount. The organic stuff, about around 20,000 heat units or less. You could chew on horseradish root or something, but even that. But that sort of thing can get things going. But you have to ride that thin line not to create more than you trying to break up. Things like mullein, fenugreek, hydration is what really breaks things up. Because in hydration, it creates an anionic, more fluidity of things, as opposed to a cationic or catabolic situation, which actually ends up dehydrating and agglomerating, locking and making things hard. What do you think about eating encapsulating the placenta after birth? I don't. Because, again, you're talking about placenta, which is majorly full of progesterone. And, after a woman conceives, the placenta becomes mega progesterone. And that's where, remember how we get it, to give it back to you, pregnant mares and all of that? How we get progesterone to you? Anybody ever remember what they do to horses to get you progesterone? Okay. So, but in the consumption, the overconsumption of progesterone, what you're trying to accomplish? Yeah, it's an alkaline anti-inflammatory. That's why the placenta becomes mainly. Ask yourself why the placenta doesn't become mostly estrogen. That's an acid. So it's obvious that the placenta is not going to become mainly progesterone because it's acidic. And what's going to happen to the fetus under an acidic sky? Exactly, deteriorate the fetus. It's in our face, alkaline and acid, the differences. So again, you can equate that even to the placenta. But again, taking progesterone is a quick way for your body to quit making it. Another way of supplementing a hormone, or a steroid actually, that'll make your body quit producing it. There's no benefit in that. The benefit would be make your adrenals produce the progesterone you need. Make them do their job. Well, how do you make them do their job if they're sitting there and they don't remember their job? Well, then that gets into why don't they remember their job? Genetic memory's a problem with those little babies. How do you fix genetic memories? You go right to the source of consciousness. And in the physical body, we rely on food consumption to reach in to get to the chemistry that gets to the consciousness of why it was formed in the first place. For you spiritual lads and gals, understand that food comes packing with consciousness, with the mind and emotions and the physical structure here if you have a physical body. So your food, your herbs have all these levels and components, so they're helping you on all your levels too. Is it so cool? I mean, there's some cool stuff out there. And what is this? NID T2DM. Can they eat fruit? My client's feet are tingling with fruit consumption, and this usually happens when his sugars are not balanced. Help. How do we proceed with treatment? Well, if he's having trouble with sugar metabolism, then you got to go to the adrenal glands, because if it's sugar metabolism he's having trouble with, it doesn't matter what food you eat, because you're having sugar metabolism problems. That's cortisol problems. So you're having adrenal gland problems. If you're having neuropathy type feelings, again, you want to go to the kidney and adrenal gland, same gland, kidneys too, because now you're dealing in the lymphatic system, and you're dealing in neurotransmitters, and the lower the neurotransmitters, the lower the blood pressure, but also the lower the myelin sheath. And as your nervous system, as your adrenals become chronic, so does the myelin sheaths, and da-da-da-da-da, and the neuropathies, blah, 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 blah. But when you see neuropathies, you want to get into the proper pHs of the body. You're getting into acidosis again and things like that. So incomplete metabolism and things can create acidosis, no question. But you want to get to the source of the problem. You want to get to the adrenal glands and the kidneys, quite frankly, and work on that level. But and if you're having sugar metabolisms, quite frankly, the fruit is the best. Fruit and berries, because it's the simplest sugar. If you're a type 1, I've said this many times, fruit and berries are the only level to consume. If you're because even proteins will make your blood sugars soar. I was wondering if the bentonite clay used for ingestion needs to be food grade. You know, I don't know. I would be. I don't. I do use a little bentonite food grade in my in some of my formulas, but not much. The olden days we used a lot of bentonite. Bentonite absorbs about 200 times its size in toxins, and charcoal 2,000 times its size. But again, minimal use of these clays. I would have minimal use. The real problem is hydration and kidney filtration. So look at when you ask something, whether it's a treatment-based question or it's a fix-me-based question. Yeah, but food grade, or can you consume the same bentonite clay that is used topically for masks? That's a good question. Can't answer that one. I'd stick with food grade. Anything. I don't like clays too much. I'm real cautious with that. You know, even in our GI broom, I have more of astringent herbs than clays and things, because you absorb, but then you can expand. So I'm a little cautious with that. I know in Europe they do a lot more clays than we do in the States. I have nothing negative per se about that too much, but want to be careful about consumption of clays, in my opinion, and constipation and all that implies. From Shannon Breeze. What are you talking about, Shannon? What does Dr. Morse think of CBD oil and its applications? Love it. Particularly CBD oil. It's amazing. Matter of fact, I was mentioning they're working a lot with different strains of cannabis for microcirculation improvements and all kinds of neat things. So when you see a versatile plant like the cannabis plant, I'm telling you, it comes packing with remedies. But why are you taking the CBD oil? For pain, right, or cancers? Oils are antacids. All right, so there's no problem in my world of taking something like that to help with the pain and help with the inflammation. No problem whatsoever. But what is the one underlying thing you must continue to tell yourself? Let me fix the cause of the problem. Let me address the cause of the problem. And that's going to be the acid side of chemistry, brings you to the lymph system, brings you to the kidneys and adrenals, the skin and the thyroid. That's what you want to focus on, and then use CBD oils to help you during this journey so you feel better and it doesn't get the pain so much and stuff like that. That would be smarter. But if you're thinking CBD oil cures things, then you're living in the world that vitamins cure everything, minerals cure everything. These things are cure-all. There's no cure-all, nothing. When you have acidosis and agglomulation, there's not a cure-all to it. It's your lifestyle, your food you're consuming. It's the chemistry from which you put your body into. And you're getting the blowback from that. Oh, there's a whole bunch of things. Do first. Oh, okay. All right, so what about chronic medulla in the iris? What are the manifestations, symptoms of this, or consequences, diseases in the person, especially a young one like 17 years? Uh-oh. Well, if you see chronic in the cerebellum or mastoid, which is right down from that, then you have the ear. So you have the ear, mastoid, cerebellum, and now you're up in the brain, center brain, frontal lobe moving up toward the 12 o'clock center, then that sort of thing. So on the right side, your frontal lobe is sticking there around 2 o'clock, and so it moves yourself back left side the opposite way. The cerebellum is where the autonomic nervous system, your worker bee nervous system, the communication highway comes in, picks up the olfact, picks up all of this, picks up all the sensory factors, the olfactories, the optics, the ears. So this is your fight or flight system, all hooked into the central nervous system, which is the communication link to the mind. This isn't, your brain doesn't think, your brain doesn't, this is the mind does. Your brain is only the physical chakra, shall we say, physical nerve consciousness center of that, the relationship of the mind to that. That's why they refer to the crown chakra and all this sort of thing like that. Equilibrium, vertigo, dropping of the feet, swinging blood pressures, lightheadedness, that sort of thing. Always present in your neurological conditions like medical MS and Lou Gehrig's and stuff. Cerebellum's always involved. That or the mastoid. That is an indication that also up in the brain that if you have chronic lymph stagnation, then what happens? You develop brain lesions. Remember, it can be for years, the lymph stagnation can create just inflammatory responses. But eventually, it's going to be intracellular acidosis, and this is where the mutation of the DNA takes place and all that, the chromosomes. That's where you start to see the morphology of the cell change, and the mutations begin to happen. And then as you begin to multiply those cells, we're just seeing the effect of all this, and so we just have to understand that and turn everything around. So all we got to do is turn the car around. Wrong way. Road to Hellville. We want to turn our car around and put the road to Wellville. So these are some of the things, and if you're 17 years young, you get onto this. Upper circuit, brain and nerve. Get circulation moving up into these tissues. Brain and nerve is for the neurons. But you've got to fix the system that chews on you. And that's the lymphatic system. Blood doesn't chew on you. You wouldn't stay alive long enough. Remember that one. So it's the lymph system that chews on the cells. Cells are just sitting there looking pretty. It's the acids and the wastes that chew on you. That's what you got to move out of the body. And at 17, I should submit to you, your kidneys and your adrenals are probably your biggest problem. So that's what you want to look at. And I would do it now. These are the things you don't mess around with, guys. When it comes neurological, do not mess around, because it's a whole heck of a lot harder to pull you out of a wheelchair than it is just to give you in light conditions of vertigo and stuff like that. All right, here's one, Don. Not even 2 weeks ago, I had one half of my thigh. Sad. Damn, Don. Less than 2 weeks ago, she had half her thyroid removed because of the nodule with suspicious cells. Possible 90% cancer. Just remember this, guys. When you see a nodule or a tumor, that means that lymph system in that area is stagnant. And when you have stagnation, and you see the beginning of stagnation in your genetically weakened areas. And I've mentioned this before. Dr. Jensen mentioned that to me, and I'm going, yeah, but you're not a violet. You don't understand the lymph system. How do you know that? So he knew some things that he didn't say. Spiritual dude, quite a bit. So, but this is very accurate. And you can see this in the lacuna, around the lacunas in your eyes. You can see that little thick, that little layer where the lymph is a little fattened. That tells you right there, that interstitial space around that one. It follows the curve of the lacuna. So it's a curve of a curve of that gland or organ, and that means the walls are a little backed up. Well, that just means that old adage, when there's a weakness, if you don't get rid of that weakness, nature will cut it right off. It could be the appendix, it could be the breast, it could be anything. It'll eventually chew it right off. I mean, this is nature. Gets rid of weaknesses and tries to replace it with the strong. But if you don't have chemistry coming in and consciousness coming in to strengthen, then it's just going to decay you. You know, you've got to supply the goodies coming in. So that's sad. That's sad that they would do that to you. Now, get this, the positive side, dearie. Get 100% raw and move yourself up into fruits, berries, and melons, and that thyroid will grow back. All right? But just about guarantee it. That it'll grow back, and that's what you want to do. Get the raw. You got to fix the lymph system in the first place. Fix why you have nodules. But remember, the only reason that they're and you don't want them to biopsy. I mean, these guys are. I have to hold my civil tongue, because what are you trying to accomplish, Mr. Medical Doctor? Trying to get a biopsy to see if there's a cancer cell? Do you even know what that means? Anytime you have a nodule that's interstitial, you're going to get a cell in there that's going to be damaged and mutated. Okay, so what? 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell, 4. All right? The body has a perfect pathway to get rid of them once you open it, and that is the lymph flow. The lymph flow will take those cells, take them right to the lymph nodes, where who's waiting for them? Macrophages. Hello, medical doctors. You went to school and took A&P, so you got macrophages there waiting for them, all right, to break them down. But if the highway's backed up, you can't get those cells to the lymph nodes, right? Right, so you fix the highway. The highway is your lymph vessels and the fluids within them. Acids create agglomulation, dehydration. So it's why it's vital that the diet is an alkaline-based diet. So one positive thing is you can rebuild that. Suppose you have cancer cells in the nodule. Who cares? It's just 1 or 2 wrapped around where the nodule was. That's all it is. Doesn't mean the whole thyroid has cancer cells. If it did, what would you do? You get that which is damaging your cells remedied, and therefore the cells will be taken naturally right to the lymph nodes and taken care of, and the thyroid will rebuild itself. Give some trust to the human body and the designer of it. You know who the designer of it was? You know, medical doctors insult the divine constantly. Sad. Sad that you beat up what you don't understand. So don't worry about that side of it. Don't fall into that, Don. Do not. You have a nodule. A lot of people have thyroid nodules. They're all over the place. And then we just talked last week on the goiter. The lady was afraid. You know, you don't want to ever be afraid. If you want to be afraid of anything, you be afraid to go in a medical doctor's office and have them look at those things, because you know what you're going to get. They only do 3 types of therapies on you guys. Only 3. You know, and you all know what that is. Surgery, burn, or chemicalize. You only have pharmaceuticals, you only have surgeries, and you only have radiation. We'll burn the friggin' thing out. None of those are acceptable therapies for those which are intelligent, those which understand what's up in life and understand what's causing man's problems. So, after surgery, it was confirmed cancer. Now that they want me to remove the other side, I don't want to do that. Good, and don't. Get going fast. Get your kidneys to filter. It'll clean that lymph system. Any cancer cells will take it to the lymph nodes and destroy it. Everything will be rebuilt and everything is good. Remove the other one, now you're on a road to Hellville. Oh, and let's radiate it after we remove it too. After we remove the whole thing, let's just give her chemo and radiation. We'll make sure that thing is burned out. Oh, but it could create more in other places. Oh, that's okay. Don't. I just found your video today explaining what nodules are, etc., and now I am feeling I totally screwed myself. No, it'll grow back, sweetheart. It'll grow back. I'm telling you, I had one in just a little bitty piece. The surgeon just left a little bitty piece. I got the whole thing to grow back. All right, and I realize if I take the other side out, I will definitely be. You will be, and if they take your parathyroid, sweetheart, that's your happiness. That's depression. If it's down, that's your skeletal system, connective tissue, everything sags, skin wrinkles, bladder uteruses start to go down, the prolapse down, out. I mean, all the things you don't want, ladies. And now I am feeling okay. There is a very small follicular nodule in the remaining. Who cares? Come right out. That's your lymph system. What do? I change my diet. Number one, like how fast? I am so scared now not to remove it, but afraid to remove it. All right. Lose the fear. Lose the fear. You have the masters working with you. You came across this site just in time. You thought that was coincidence? Was it coincidence you found us? Heck no. This is the information you need to save yourself. That's what it is. You can bring a medical doctor. We'll have a discussion. Your medical doctor thinks we're full of crap. Bring him over here. You know, he won't come, because he's the one full of crap, so you got to understand what's up here, what you're facing. I think you got a good handle on this. So get with it. Get your kidneys filtering. Sounds like you're a younger person. I know that having at least the one side is better than no thyroid at this point. Yeah. Keep the peace. Don't worry about the small thing. We'll get it out. Don't let them scare you. Fear is how they rule. We rule with awareness. And we don't rule. We bring you into awareness to where you can see yourself what's going on. Have no fear, my dear one. Where I feel I did the wrong thing because of everyone telling me to remove it. Well, you were listening to the wrong people. All right, so you had it removed. Okay. All right, remember, it will grow back. Get yourself 100% raw, get up to fruits, berries, and melons, get your kidneys to filter. Someone sent me your name and told me if I remove the other side, I will become so ill, I wish I was dead. And it is true. Just talk, get on our site and ask her. There's plenty of those that have had thyroidectomies. Get up there and ask, who's had a thyroidectomy? What's your experience? I've seen one or two live their life okay with some bumps. But your female side goes to hell. Everything goes to hell. You lose your libidos. I mean, everything, guys. I can't even tell you. Not good. You don't have to lose anything. Fix it. Everything's fixable. Wish I was dead. That statement scared the shit out of me, and I want to know what you would recommend I do. Any advice I would be grateful for. Get on the detox now. Get your kidneys filtering. Do some dry fasting. Get on your fruits. Drop yourself. If I'm you right now, I'm doing a 20-day grape fast. That could even take care of it right there. 20-day grape fast. Throw some lemons in there. I've seen a lot of cases. Remember that model I told you about? 43 days, grapes and lemons, no more lung and bone cancer left. Her testimony, not mine. Medical doctors made the diagnosis both times, not me. So, she got rid of her lung and bone stuff in 43 days. So all I can say is dig in, get on some herbs for the kidneys, the lymph system. We can get that out of you. A nodule like that, those are easy to get out of there. I mean, you didn't even have a tumor or anything, a little bitty thing. You know what, honey? Don't destroy anything else. Understand, you're being fed truth now. Be awake to listen. Holy moly, you had a lot of these. Dog health emergency. Dear Doc, in regards to my dog who is a 3-year-old beagle named Betsy. She has anxiety and gets scared easy. Of course, what's that? Remember now that all canines have what weakness? Universal. Given. All canines. Kidneys. That's why you see the little bumps on them. Of course, the other reason you realize that dogs, they're omnivores, do not have sweat glands. So that's a little more difficult. So you can see these little bumps, especially if you're feeding your dog wrong or any dairy or anything like that. Their lymph systems are going to be clogged up, and that's not good. Matter of fact, the problem with some of these lions is that the kidneys are so bad that they get the dysplasia. This is all from acidosis. So you want to go after the kidneys and adrenals of your little beagle. I can just tell you, they got to go after her little kidneys and adrenals. Since March 18th this year, she had her first seizure. There you go. There's the autonomic nervous system. There's your link. So you want to go after the kidneys and adrenals, get her upper circuit, brain, and nerve, treat her just like a human. Right? So kidneys and adrenals, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Give her one lymphatic formula, number 1. These are drops now. Look at her weight and size. Go with the drops, not drop her full. Drops. And go after her. Go after the endocrine glands. Go after her just like you would a human. They're pretty close. They're omnivores. So they're pretty close. It lasted 2 minutes, huh? We'll get the antispasmodic, so when she goes into a seizure, get it right in her mouth, right under her tongue. As a matter of fact, you might give it to her regularly, with her other herbs, and keep her from seizing as much as you can. So get the antispasmodic, upper circuit, brain, and nerve, and the kidneys and adrenals, and one lymphatic, and whatever else, and go that way. And I would add that antispasmodic with the whole mix. She was very sleepy that day, and she got to throw up. Sad stuff. And suddenly was frightened of something and started to yelp in pain, and I ran around the house yelling and collapsing, had a seizure with tons of foam, and acted like she didn't know me when it was over. Isn't that sad? You guys got to admit, this planet has gotten itself in sad shape. We're willing to sell our mother for $1. I got people out there willing to do the most bizarre crap. People don't give a hoot about truth anymore. No, we're here to change that, aren't we? We're here to turn this around. We're here to instill truth in this world, and we're by God doing it. And so we have to help these little critters and help our little babies and ourselves. So I appreciate every one of you that turned to this site and learned the truth. It might be some work to accomplish this, and it might be totally different than what you think. Most people are learning about, pharmaceuticals and surgeries and stuff and diseases. That's all a hill of crap. Let me tell you, that's a nowhere land field that has killed so many people. It's not funny. If they took the statistics of death that happened from iatrogenic problems and medical problems and medical pharmaceuticals and that, your jaw would be broken as it hit the table. How many deaths that the AMA have done? It is staggering, the people they've killed. For what? For what reason now? Let me think. For what reason is it? For narcissism and elitism. That's for what. No, you don't have to kill people to make them healthy and to save them. So this little dog's in trouble, no question with that. So yeah, you might even have to add a little licorice root to that. It's a little anti-inflammatory too. Maybe a drop or 2 drops of licorice root with the adrenal formula would be helpful, because this dog needs some help here, brother. I tell you. So the antispasmodic, the brain and nerve, the upper circulation. You want to do an endocrine gland as well. Kidneys. Do 2 kidney formulas on the little fella. Now this dog might have a lot of pain in. You never know. I don't know. So you want, as far as the diet's concerned, I don't know how, but you got to get away from proteins. And she had another one on April 15th that mirrored exactly that of the first one. It was pure terror. I've never experienced it. I know it. Now, think about this. This is your dog. What if it was your baby? Right after a vaccination shot, you brought your baby home, went into seizures. For years. Every day. Several every day. Even grandma for years. This one couple has been putting up with their daughter for 27 to 8 years. It makes me want to throw up. Sick. That's what you're not told, is the other side of vaccination, not just ADD and autism, and not just that. You're lucky if it's just that nowadays. With the genetics the way it is, it's killing the kids bad. I feel sorry for you. So you can imagine if it was your baby. Same thing. I mean, dogs are our babies, but it just, I know, I've got babies at home. I've got little baby doggies, so I know exactly. Makes me sick. I took her to the vet yesterday, and they ran blood work and stated she had kidney disease. That's the first statement, but kidney isn't the big problem. See, adrenal glands on top. That's where the seizures are coming from. The kidneys are just not filtering, but the adrenals control the autonomic nervous system. So they should have informed you about the adrenal glands. That's why the anxieties and everything else. The kidneys are the organ. The gland is where the big trouble is, and but all dogs have kidney disease, if you want to use that word disease. But you want to fix it, because kidneys go down everything goes down under the acid sky, things build up under the alkaline sky as an overall basic truth. Okay? It took her to, all right, decided she had kidney disease and put her on meds. I'm confused as to how that caused her seizures. It didn't. It's her adrenal glands, and with that, her whole line you might have chronic myelin sheath center. You don't know what's going up in the brain and the central nervous system with that. Just remember, the kidneys actually is where all this starts, because it controls the elimination of metabolitic acids, and when that isn't happening, they're not going anywhere. The blowback is to the cells. Even though they came from the cells, they don't want to go back. Cells are going, no, I tried to get rid of you. Yeah. Her vet also recommended me giving her milk thistle. Okay. You know, it needs a lot more than that, baby. You got to get her on some antispasmodics and things like this, or she's going to go into, more seizures. It'll take out some of the central, and then you got to, you can imagine where that's going to go. Don't make me cry. All right. Considering her own tea as well. She is very picky eater, and you got to get her away from proteins, though. Meats, somehow, veggies, whatever you give her. Steam some veggies, whatever. Rarely eats the dog food I buy her. So I usually feed her organic ground beef with veggies. Yeah, see if you can get away from the ground beef for just a little bit with the veggies. You're going to have to let herbs do this job for you. That's a problem with the omnivores and carnivores. They're the harder, and the carnivores are next to impossible, but people do work on their cats pretty good. Doctor, I can't go on living with her into my life. Best wishes, Betsy's mom. You know what, sweetheart? Get her on the upper circ, brain and nerve, antispasmodic, kidneys, 2 kidney formulas, an adrenal. You got to go after those adrenals. That's where the big thing. Remember, they sit on the kidneys. So they're half right, not even half right, but the vet was putting your attention in the right place in terms of the kidneys. I don't have time to finish this up. I've got so many of them here, and I have to step away. So what I'm going to do is return this to Shannon. And okay. I hope I'm getting this to you in time. And I'm coming back tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be back this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow and finish this one up. And I'll start this one here. Ooh, what's this? Oh, look at this. This is from Brooke. I just wanted to send you guys this interview I hosted with a man from Portugal. Oh, Portugal. Oh, I love Portugal. Who used Dr. Morse's protocols and teachings to heal his body. Yeah. His story is just absolutely amazing and inspirational. Ooh, I'm excited. I feel so called to send it to you guys. Not for self-promotional reasons, of course. It's just my passion to help share this truth. You know what? Me neither, dear one. If we don't get truth to this planet, the humans and animals are going down. We got to get them. So this truth is vital. How you rebuild tissue, how you stop these things. Vital. So I love this. I'll have to read this. This is pretty fascinating. Thank you so much. What was he suffering from? He was born with a heart defect, which he had operated on when he was 4 years old, then again at 17. Wow, look at that. the point is, he prayed. Let me see. After his surgery, he succumbed to so many health issues. Wow, that's pretty neat. I'll have to read it and let you guys know what I come up with. So, Dr. Morse, dementia-suffering mother regains memory eating blueberries and walnuts. Look at this, guys. Please pass this on to Dr. Morse. Dementia-suffering mother regains memory eating blueberries and walnuts. Yes! I mean, to tell you, that's good work, because dementia, Alzheimer's, difficult. Upper circuit brain and nerve, to say the least. Dementia-suffering mother regains memory. Honk, honk. This is Stephen. You guys are doing, look at the work you guys are doing out there. This is amazing. Oh, this is too cool. This is too cool. Oh, yeah. Look at that. She was her old self again. Dementia-suffering mother, 82, who didn't recognize her own son, regains her memory thanks to his diet of walnuts, blueberries, and brain-boosting foods. Good job. That's what we're about. This is what we're about, guys. Taking the suffering, those that lost their minds, and bringing them back to reality. And then letting them know that there are a lot of worlds you can have fun in after you have fun here. I got to read this too. This is fresh. High levels of antioxidant, fresh fruits and vegetables in her diet. Absolutely, guys. Overnight, she went from a happy family to one in crisis, and then she came back. Source, Alzheimer's Society. Well, this Alzheimer's Society needs to know this information. People, you can't treat with pharmaceuticals and come out of this. Ooh, I got to take these and read them. This is exciting. I'm excited. I'm always excited when I see you guys cure yourselves. We've gotten so many incredible testimonials. It was funny. Remember when I was reading that movie producer? Matter of fact, she's the one that just produced the Meg movie. So when you go to see the Meg movie, she's the producer. I probably can't mention what she had, but it was a C word. She had it gone in 8 weeks. And I was reading one of these testimonies, and one of you guys had your leukemia gone in 8 weeks too. Oops. But anyway, we also have the author of that, Steve. But that's going to be a pretty interesting movie. They filmed it in New Zealand and China, and it's about a megalodon coming up from the deep. Very interesting. Anyway, love you guys. So good. So proud of you guys. You're doing it. You're doing it. Fix yourselves. Don't buy into this removal of thyroids and stuff like that. Fix them. Everything is fixable. If you're so advanced you can't fix yourself, then let's talk about a fun journey you're going to be taking. And no fear. Let's have some fun. You're going to a bigger, better, more vibrant. No one is alone ever in that way. So, but 99.99% of you guys can fix yourselves no matter what level you're at and have a life, especially when you're young and you're just starting out in life, but you're having to fix yourselves. We remember humans have degraded themselves and their cells down to where we're at, Hellville, and we love to pull you guys out of Hellville. I never did like that place, did you? Love you.